Good afternoon and welcome everybody to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. It was quite a busy week with some good moves in the market. Hope you caught some moves and made some money. All right, so we've got some interesting moves this week as well, some interesting setups so that we're going to look at during the webinar. Right, so I'm on my YouTube channel here, and if you are watching the webinar for the first time, just remember there are timestamps here on each and every video that I post. I just want to open one video so you can see where you can find these timestamps. Let's just mute here. So to go to a pair that you are you're interested on, you just click on the link here. All the pairs that we discuss here are timestamps, so which means if you just click on any one of them, it will take you straight to where the analysis starts. For example, if you're going to go pound JPY, it's going to take you straight to pound JPY analysis. So that means you don't have to toggle around and look for a pair that you're looking at, or you have to watch the video to just look for one pair. All right, so that's how it works. Now, let's talk about the course. We currently have a course running that will be ending next week. It is the last course of the year, as I've been saying for the last couple of days. But if you are still interested to join the group, even if we're not going to attend the live course, you can still do so at any time. For more details on what we do on the group and what the course covers, send me an email and I'll give you all the details. As I said, the price for the course will be reviewed next year. So if you are not joining by the end of the year, you are going to join. You will join next year at a new price. So for more information on that, send me an email and I'll give you all the details. So you can join at any time, because when you join, you also get recordings of the previous course. So a full course recording that you'll receive when you sign up. So even if you're not going to attend the course at any time, you will still have the material and the notes to prepare yourself, so that when you actually have the live online course, you are already prepared. You have already started. Okay, so that's how it works. All right. Here it says add blocker on Chrome. I don't know what that is for. Harry? That, okay. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'll check that out. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, I'll check that out. Thank you. All right, so let's get started. So I've posted a couple of setups on TradingView. If you are interested in following me on TradingView, my profile name on TradingView is V Manena. It's also on the description of my videos. You'll find it there. Because if you look for Victor Manena on TradingView, it's a bit difficult to find me. So look out for my profile name on the description of all my videos. And then you can follow me on TradingView as well. All right. When I get to some of the ideas that are posted in the last week, I don't always post, but I think when we do post, we post some really good setups. Hold on a second. Right, so one of the setups that I posted, which was amazing, was US dollar CAD. I mean, most of you that have been watching these videos for the last couple of months, you will remember how much I've been talking about US dollar CAD dropping. Okay, so far the two moves that we're expecting have happened. So we were here and I posted this setup. It is currently available on TradingView. That from here we're definitely going to get into the blue box and drop. Okay, so we have gone into the blue box. We have dropped. It is not confirmed as whether we're going to go all the way down as yet, but the cycle and the structure that we're looking at, and also all the indicators that we looked at, all the boxes have been ticked for this trade to actually play out. So let's just play this. You'll see how amazing the blue box magic is. We also like to call it the blue box magic. Look what happened here. So it went straight into the blue box, a few pips in, and then it drops. Okay, so we're already in the trade here from the blue box, buy order, sell order in the blue box. If you're not in the group, obviously you have to use your own strategy. We've got a specific strategy that we use for entries. Okay, so now we're busy correcting here. This will confirm whether we're going to go all the way down. But for now, we've got this nice move over 200 pips into the blue box, and now we're looking down, downside for this whole big move. So you need to have a strategy to know where the entry point is. All right, so that's what we'll be looking at. For even better confirmation, you need to be out of this structure. This is a whole corrective structure. This structure here is corrective. We're still going to look at this when we look at US dollar CAD. But it will be even better if we get out of the structure like that. Then you know it's going to drop and it's going to go all the way. And that's a lot of pips to the downside. Over 1,000 pips to the downside on US dollar CAD. Okay, it was a free trade. Everybody should have got this one on TradingView. Another one that we've been looking at was, we've looked at, this one's I posted a week before. This was Chief JPY. Let's look at Chief JPY. Now, Chief JPY, one of those almost guaranteed trades. So the blue box, the idea about the blue box is that it's an area where you will either get a reaction or a reversal, but whichever one that you get. So if we're getting a reaction here for downside here, if this does not turn out to be an overall reversal, you will get a bit of a move in that same direction. Only difference is that if it's going to drop, it's going to drop correctively. So when it drops correctively, then you know that we still have another move in the in the direction of the trend. So even if that happens, that means you are not going to lose a trade because you will have a reaction in the direction that you anticipated. So that is why this strategy is almost fail proof. So now let's see if we can play this. See what happened. It also went straight into the blue box, not a pip higher, not a pip lower, and reversed. And now we're coming down here like this. But there is a possibility which I will update just now. And if it does play that, then you're going to have a guaranteed trade to the downside in the next couple of days. So what we're expecting here, I'll show you what we're expecting here, and two scenarios that will happen here for downside. So this, we've got a drop of over 200 pips already on this one here, but it has reversed those gains with this move that was happening on Friday. So it has reversed almost half of those gains. So let's see what happens. We're going to update this analysis when we start getting to it. So that was the Chief JPY. Also posted, what else did I post here? I posted Euro JPY. Look how amazing this is. Same thing. We know exactly where this should go before it goes up. So the strategy will always tell you. So here, made a correction, moved up. Here it missed the blue box. That's fine. It's acceptable. We know the range. Okay, so now it has reversed. What is happening with this one? This one has got better confirmation than Chief JPY now for more downside. Okay, so what you're going to wait for here, we're not doing the analysis yet. We're still going to look at it. If we're going to look for this one to go down, you're going to look for a corrective structure here. Because it looks like it has made this corrective structure. The corrective structure on Chief JPY is not as clear as the one on Euro JPY, but we know there's correlation there. So we'll have a look just now what's going to happen with those. So that was Euro JPY and some of the pairs that I posted. Here I made a mistake. I was trying to post US dollar CAD and I put in the wrong chart of oil. So if you see that one there, just ignore it. Unfortunately, on TradingView, once you post a chart, you cannot remove it if you don't edit it within the 30 minutes of posting it. So that chart will just remain there. It's a mistake. All right, so that's what we're looking at. Well, we also have Euro US dollar sell set up. Okay, so interesting thing that has happened here. It did not drop as anticipated, but that's not a problem, because what we're doing here is to understand what the market is doing. So here we had a bit of a pulse. We actually had what looked like a three-wave move. Let me just remove somebody on the video. So what we had here was a three-wave move. It looked like a three-wave move, and I was expecting a drop. Okay, so what has happened here is that it's not just that three-wave move. You've got a three-wave move here. This is what it did, and this is what it did, and now we're expecting this move still. What has happened? We're still expecting the same 1, 2, 3 wave move before we drop, and this whole thing now is going to be a flag. So euro US dollar, I'm going to update now. We're still expecting downside. Those are the pairs that I've posted. So this is what happens. Let's just play here and see what happened. Instead of dropping here, it made 1, it made 2, it made 1 up. Let's play it. 1 up. That's not a problem that it went 1 up at all. It's part of the structure. It's showing you now that it even has better probability of going down than it did last week. So now we're expecting that move to that level. It has not played out yet. So use your own strategy to enter. So I posted quite a few, which is not what I usually do. It was just one of those good setups that I didn't want you guys to miss. I hope you will enjoy that. Okay, so now let's go into today's analysis. We're going to start with the cryptocurrencies like we've been doing for the last 2-3 weeks. Let's start with the cryptos. We'll start with Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin. Let's go daily. I'm going to do the daily chart because now we need to understand where the cryptocurrencies are going as a whole. But after I've been doing this chart for the last 6 to 8 months, I've had the exact same chart. So let me repeat again what I've always been saying about the cryptocurrencies, even when it looked impossible that they were going to make the moves that they're currently making now. That's what happens when you understand structure. So we've had a move down, we had a pull back. So what we're expecting is that you've got an internal lower degree move here in 3 waves, 1, 2, and we're expecting these 3 here to come down here. So after that, we'll expect that this move is not complete. So this correction is correcting that move. So we're going to expect a move up. Don't know how far this is going to go yet. We're going to project it. Should be about the same size as the one. And then we're going to expect the last move down and then up. Notice how I'm running out of space here. This is going to go as close as possible to 0 before we go. Okay, we will get an indication when this actually reverses, but for now there is no reversal. So what does this structure look like in terms of the Elliott wave structure? You've got a 1, 2, 3 waves down, up, through a W, not like that, sorry. It's W down, X there, and Y down there. So the amount of space, guys. So internally here you've got, this is why I'm saying it's 3 waves down. The reason why I'm saying it's 3 waves down is because you've got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's WXYXZ. I'm not going to label that just to avoid cluttering the chart. You can do more detail if you're interested in that. Then you've got WXY internally. Okay, now you also have A, B, C there. A, B, C. This is the current C that we're expecting. That's why it is a pulsing move like that. Pulsing A and a pulsing C. So now we're expecting a move like that. So if you look at this whole structure, internally here, you've got this. I don't want to use the red. I'm going to use the blue. This is the structure that you're looking at. So which means Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies, we're expecting to break. There's no previous low here. We're expecting them to go as low as possible. I'm going to expect a move up, which is this one, and then down. Just remember this structure, I'm trying to draw it. I'm drawing it where it is currently, but the price is here. I'm just trying to show what the structure is. What you need to look at for the structure. So this should go up, down, and then up. Something like this. Let's do this. It's gonna look terrible if I do it there, but I'm just trying to give you an understanding of what we're expecting. Down, up, down, and then up. That's what we're looking at. All right. Further downside. So what are we getting? So every time you get a corrective structure, you know that it's still more downside. As I've been saying for the last couple of months, actually for the last couple of weeks, I've been saying if you can afford to hold the cryptocurrencies with a stop loss at 0, it is now time to hold them. So you can actually just start accumulating cryptocurrencies now. So we've broken the previous low here now. This is the daily. Let's go 4 hour for the next move in the next week. We're currently making this correction. Break of this correction, further downside. It's not going anywhere. Not even a bounce here, not even a retest to the previous side, nothing. We're expecting it to keep going down. Let's check here, something here. Not even divergence. This is not divergence. Price and RSI are doing exactly the same thing. So we're expecting further downside. The trend is still down. You could have expected maybe a flat correction there, but there's no indication of that. It's just showing downside. So there is no retest there. We're going down again in the next week. So that is Bitcoin, Litecoin, same structure. So Litecoin, all cryptocurrencies very close to zero now. The ones that we look at here in this webinar at least. So down here, we've broken the previous low, and now we're looking at this as a corrective structure. Let's get it here. 1, 2, 3. It may make another one before it drops. But whatever correction is going to happen here, we are going to drop some more. So all indication on the cryptocurrencies is further downside. Ethereum, same structure. Looks like a strong candle up. Doesn't mean anything as yet. Up, up. Even if it makes a three-wave structure like that, you're still expecting a drop. There's still no reversal as yet for the cryptocurrencies, even in the next week. So even for the next couple of weeks, we're not expecting any reversal. When the reversal signs come, I will update this as we go. All right. Welcome, York. So we'll update this as we go. But the theme for the week is continued weakness in the cryptocurrencies. Ethereum, no, Ripples rather, sorry. Let's just get a higher degree structure on Ripple. Ripple is always also, so all the cryptocurrencies were making these corrections last week. And I said that they're still going to drop some more. They're still making corrections again. They're still going to drop some more. Only Ripple is now very close to retesting this previous low. So there may be a bounce at this level, but we will have to see whether we're going to have a confirmation for that bounce to retest that level. And why do we want it to come down here and come up and then down and then up? It's because of the structure. Let's go to the daily. Ripple is making a clear structure. So this is what you have on Ripple. I have just to put in the annotation in numbers, the structure, just identify the structure. This is what Ripple looks like. You've got a move down, you've got a correction there, you've got another move, and we're expecting this corrective structure. We're going to expect a bounce. We're going to expect last move down before we go up. So this move on Ripple is the one that I was talking about on Bitcoin, the one that will push up higher first and come back again down. So they should go in the same move. So what does the structure look like? This will be a W, X, Y, X, Z move. So this Z can also just break this previous low and not drop as much as I've indicated here. This is obviously exaggerated, so it may break this low and just start going. Where will it be going? It will be going with the same move as this one. Let's see how that goes. Right. So that's what we're going to be looking at. That is if they don't crash. Look how close we are to zero. Look how close we are to zero. Very close. All right. So that's the cryptocurrencies, very clear structures, very clear setups in the coming sessions. All right, so let's start with the US dollar pairs. We'll start with the Euro US dollar. So usually we'll do it Euro US dollar with the DXY. So I'm going to put the two pairs up on the same screen first. We've got Euro US dollar at the top, and then we'll put DXY at the bottom. Let's give it a few more minutes to load. I'm gonna put them both on the 240 charts. I'm not gonna do the long-term view, guys. You've seen the long-term view. Almost every video that I've done since this move to the downside has been showing the long-term view. So you can just watch the previous one to get an understanding of the long-term view of this. 4 hour on the Euro at the top, and the DXY also on the 4 hour at the bottom. Now, what are we expecting? This is what we're expecting. we've got a structure like this. Let's just show the labeling here. We're expecting an expanded diagonal here in the last wave. I'll show actually the detailed structure, long-term view on Euro US dollar when I go to the individual chart. But for now, this is what I was looking at when I showed you the. I don't want this to load this now. When I was showing the chart that I've posted on Euro US dollar, this is what we're looking at. We are looking at this one as a 1, 2, 3 wave move, and then we're expecting to go down to the wave 5. I'm still expecting the same move. So if that is what I'm expecting on Euro US dollar, the DXY is actually supposed to be off here. Let's update it quickly. So the DXY also making a diagonal there and expecting the last move to the upside. So we'll expect a move like this to be a corrective structure, and expect it to go complete the wave 5 move. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. All right, those are the trades for the next week. This setup is still valid. So let's look at Euro US dollar individually. Let's go back to a single chart. You're welcome, Yusin. Okay, so let's have a look at Euro US dollar daily chart. Let's look at the daily chart as well, so you can see where we're looking at with this, why we want that drop. Okay, so right at the top here, we've got 1, we've got 1, 2, 3, wave 4 being the triangle there, 5, expecting this to be a wave 4, and then we're looking at this one as an expanding wave 5, targeting that level. Okay, so looking for this one to drop to that level. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in red, and then we'll then expect a pullback in 3 waves. Okay, so that is why we're expecting this one to drop, because of the overall structure. Okay, DXY is exactly the opposite of Euro US dollar. Don't know why it is not updating. Every time I update, it goes back to the same thing again. I'm gonna switch this off again, do the same thing, just show you what I've just shown you on the euros. It's 1, 2, and it's 1, 2, 3, and a running triangle in the middle. 1, 2, 3. The running triangle is a wave 4. Hope you guys know what a running triangle is. I've explained it before. This is what you have, a running triangle in wave 4 and then in wave 5. So you've got a wave 4 here in the higher degree, and we're looking at this one to complete a wave 5. It looks like an expanding diagonal in wave 5. So that is why I'm expecting US dollar, the DXY, to push up higher. Okay, so when that push higher happens, we should be getting divergence for downside. And that downside should be the 3-wave pullback that we were looking at on Euro US dollar. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5. Okay, 1 lower degree, 2, 3 running triangle, 4, 5 in the lower degree. Okay, 3 waves in wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why we want this last piece here. So you don't want to be trading this small piece to the upside. Okay, but that's the piece that we're looking at. We're going to have a pullback soon here. Okay, how far will this pullback be? Could even be back 60% or 61% or 50% of this whole string. So let's see how that goes. For now, you don't want to be aggressive and be trading this move to the upside. Okay, so let's go through the rest of the pairs. US dollar CAD, I've already shown, that's the one that I've posted. Worked amazing. I've been talking about this one for weeks, that we're gonna need to just break here. If you remember how many pairs, number of pairs that I showed you with the 11 string sequences, or 5 wave structures, not impulsive waves, but corrective structures, WXY, Z structures. This was one of them. Actually all the pairs were based on this structure: 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm expecting this to be the Z, W, X, Y, X, Z. You guys saw this happen right in front of your eyes, way before it happened. Okay, showed with confidence that this will break this top here and reverse. Yes, you've got to move down here, but you need to be careful. You need to get out of this structure. We need to get out of this structure, not the trend line, not that because it's a trend line, but we've seen the cycle. So when the cycle ends and we get out of that structure, then we can confirm that that now is going to go all the way down. But that doesn't mean that you wait for it. We're already in the trade from the blue box. We're expecting this big move to the downside, which is the same move as this one. Okay, I also showed you what the reason why we're looking at it like that is because we've seen it happen like that. And those who have been watching these webinars for the last 2 years will remember how we traded this one here exactly the same way that we're expecting to trade this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I even showed as we were going down, coming down with this structure, that I'm expecting that 1, 2, 3 that is happening here is actually this one here. Okay, we also expected this to come up in these 3 waves. Even though that 3 waves is not as clear as it is here, I showed that there was a clear 3 waves happening here, but it turned out not to be a 3-wave move, but rather a WXYXZ structure here as well. I'll show you that structure just now. And that was an even better confirmation for this to drop now. So let's see if we're going to get that move. Okay, so what did we get in the last swing? Let's go to the 4-hour. Turned out beautifully. It started off very complex. Started out very complicated, looked pretty complicated, but as it went, we could actually see the structure properly, and this was the structure. Clear 5-wave move. And when it's clear like this, that's when you get it. So if you remember this blue box, I've had it on the screen for the last, since we started looking at this move to the upside. We've been looking for this to drop. Okay, so you've got here 1, 2, 3 waves up. Let me do it in yellow. You've got 1, 2, 3 waves up, correction. 1, 2, 3 waves up, correction. 1. There's still a possibility that this can do 1, 2, 1 up before we drop, but that will still be in the blue box, but that's fine. But this could also be the last move, which is a Z. As we've seen with the other pairs, that it can actually just make a small Z and drop. Okay, shouldn't worry. If you're in the trade, you've got a good entry. Whatever happens, even if it's going to do this first, should be fine. All right, so in between here, you've got corrections in wave X, correction in wave X. Now you've got an 11 string sequence, and that's the structure. And if you like labeling, this is how you label it: W, X, Y, X, Z. Either this will be the Z or this will be the Z. Either way, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. It should be in the trade now. Wait for these to start correcting here. If you're not in already, for a drop. Okay. Don't rush it. That will be a nice one when it plays out. US dollar chief. This one is playing out nicely. So what happened here is a very nice setup here on US dollar chief. We had a pulsing move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, truncated 5th. And I'm looking at this now, as I was looking at it last week, as a corrective structure. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which will be a wave A, and now you're getting a B, and now you're looking for a C. Okay, impulsive wave C. So whatever happens here, A, B, C move, we'll still expect a move to the upside. Right. Somebody's saying something. Is it possible that it's an ending diagonal? On which one, Anum? Ending diagonal on what? On which pair? US dollar CAD. I'm not looking at it. It's possible, but I'm not looking at it as an ending diagonal. Send me a view. We'll discuss. All right. That's US dollar chief. So US dollar chief, we're expecting this one to continue with a move to the downside. All right. That's US dollar chief. Pound US dollar. So pound US dollar, it looks like we've got a move. The structure that is playing out now on pound US dollar looks like should go up, but as far as the indicators and the structure is concerned, looks like we're going to have Let's have a look here. Looks like the trend is still down here, regardless of what happens. So this looks like a corrective flag here, and we're still gonna drop some more. So it looks like we have broken this low here. We already broke this low. We're making this three-way move up as a correction, and now we're dropping. Okay, so let's look at the overall structure. What does the structure look like? Because we're not just looking at levels. We look at the structure. So this is what the structure will look like. So I was expecting that we're gonna have one, we're gonna have two. This can come and retest here, give us the structure. Because here you've got 1, 2, 3. Here you've got 1, 2, 3. So we're expecting here you can have also 1, 2, 3 like that. So that will be a structure like that. But overall, this is a corrective structure. How do you label this? W, X, Y. And if you wanted to go in lower degree, you will have also WXY in the lower degree, WXY in the lower degree, WXY, actually ABC. We'll expect ABC in the lower degree. That's what you're expecting. That's the structure for pound. But it's not confirming this move to the upside as yet. So this upside is not confirmed, so which means this could still drop a little bit further. We had already tagged this previous low, so it may come back to it again and even move like that. So if it goes all the way down from here, we're gonna have to update the structure. That means we're not gonna have this retest to the upside. And that will mean that this would have been all the correction, only this. And we're starting a move to the downside. Okay, but let's watch it and see what happens when it gets to this level. That's pound US dollar, Audi US dollar, Audi US dollar. Remember we looked at this pulsing move to the upside. And I said this, when it gets to this level here, we're gonna expect a correction that will correct the whole move. That is what is happening currently. We had a pulsing move to the upside, and now that whole move should be corrected, and this should come back at least to the 50% or 61% area. Okay. This total move should come to the 60% area. So look for a corrective structure here and further drop. Okay, interesting that Audi and gold are currently not correlated, but that's okay. We'll update. So for the next session, when this breaks out of here, it's coming down. Let's go for 1 hour just to see what is happening with the structure. So you've got to move up. 1, 2, 3. We'll expect continuation to the downside. So don't rush it, wait for it to give you a nice entry point. Right, that's Audi US dollar, New Zealand US dollar, same, but this one looks like it has already broken this level. A correction here means we're continuing with the move to the downside. Also made what looked like a pulsing move to the upside. Let's go 4 hour. Okay, so you can see that pulsing move, we're now expecting a correction in 3 waves. Okay, so wait for, I don't know what strategy you use. I know which strategy we use in our group, the entry strategy that we use. Look for entry points for downsides. If this confirms downside, okay, need to get confirmation for the downside on this move. Right, so you wait for this flag. Looks a bit too small, but we're still looking more downside on New Zealand as well. Same as with Audi US dollar. All right, so let's look at the pound pairs. Look at all the pairs that we looked at last week. Almost every single one of them has done what we expected it to do. pound JPY, it was making this flag last week, and I said we're going to get to the 142 area. Yes, we're still missing the 142 area, but we got very close at 142.80 around that level. Still expecting continuation to the downside. Looks like there's a structure that is happening here. Let's look a little bit closely. So what could happen here? 1, 2, 3 down here could give you this structure, but overall we're still looking downside on pound. So you wait for nice sell setups for further downside on pound JPY. Okay, minimum to come and retest this level. It has missed it by a few pips. Let's see if it has missed it or touched it. Okay, it has actually touched that level. Breaking this level here means we're coming for the next one. Not a support or resistance level, but a structural level. You already have this one looking like a flag here, but this can just be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 there, and a flag correction like that for downside. Okay, so still looking downside on pound, yen, US dollar, yen. Yeah, we need to look at US dollar JPY together with gold. Okay, I'm gonna bring gold up just now. I think we'll look at gold once we're done with all the yen pairs. So I said that this one will just test this one and reverse when we're looking at the gold structure as well. I'll bring it up. I'll bring pound. I'll bring US dollar JPY again when I look at gold in a moment. So let's see where this one is going. Whether this is going to continue to the downside and give us this structure. Okay, which will be a move down, pulse, big correction, higher degree. And let me use the right colors here. This will be the move. This will be the move. And we'll expect this move here. But that's a pretty long-term view. Let's see. I'm going to update here again when we've looked at what the structure that gold is doing. Okay, so gold has actually reached the 143 area that we were looking for. So expecting reversal on gold, but we'll have a look at it just now. Okay, let's just wrap all the yen pairs. At this moment, currently this trend on this one is still down, so there's no signs of a reversal here as yet. So let's expect it to at least come and retest that level. Euro yen, you know exactly what we're looking at here. This is the one that is on TradingView that I've posted the idea on TradingView, US dollar JPY. So this one made this move to the upside, which we expected, has dropped, and now it is making this three-wave corrective structure. So let's see if this three-wave corrective structure is going to drop to that level. Okay, so we're still expecting weakness in the yen pairs, as I said last week, but has anything changed? We'll have to see in the week. This structure will tell us. So we've got 1, 2, 3 here. If you get on the 1 hour a pulse and a corrective structure, you enter this again. Okay, you can enter this again. Chief JPY, also the one that I discussed when we started, but this one is not so clear. As I said, I will update this one. What could happen here with Chief JPY, and if it does happen, even if it will mean that our first trade is going to be out for break even, the new one will be a very good trade. So we're looking for this one to make this one here. What will this make? It will now make a W, X, Y, X, Z. And when we get a structure like this, we know that there's no other way but for this to go in the original direction of the trend, and the original direction of the trend is this one. So what has happened here? It will be 1, 2, 3 lower degree, 1, 2, 3 lower degree, 1, 2, 3 lower degree, 1, 2, 3 lower degree. You're expecting 1, 2, 3, break the top, and the big drop. That is if it does not drop from current levels. Okay, so we're going to need to watch whether you're going to get a reversal here. As far as the structure is concerned, and formula that we use for confirmation of reversal, this has not confirmed, but it's tricky because Euro JPY has confirmed downside. Okay, so this is what I want, but the structure is not telling us that. It's telling us that this could give us a break of the top before we get the big drop, similar to what we have on US dollar CAD. So keep an eye and see what happens on this one. It's going to be interesting when the market opens. No need to rush. Audi JPY, looked at this one last week, was the only strong yen pair, and it actually opened up with a gap. So it went up with a gap, come down to close the gap, and now we're still expecting further downside, but it must give us a bit of a correction here first. Okay, that's Audi. New Zealand should be the same as well. New Zealand JPY. Continuation to the downside. Has already made a pullback here. Could make another one, but I'm expecting continuation here to the downside. CAD, interesting because it is the only one that looked to have strength among the yen pairs. So let's see, we've made a passing move up here on CAD. Let's see if we're going to get at least a three-way move up and then down. Because we've been on a long-term downside on CAD after we sold it here. Okay, we sold it there because of this move. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at now. Whether this has made now a 1, 2, 3 down correction. Is it a 1, 2, 3 down? And are we done with W, X, Y? And now we're going for another move to the upside. So this could mean that we're going to have another 5-wave structure. If you look here, you've got 5 waves there. A, B, C, D. No, sorry, 3 waves. All 3 waves. 3 waves, so we'll expect another 3 waves. So if this is the structure, we've already made a passing move to the upside. Look to see if we get a correction here. Look to see if we get a correction. So a strong CAD would be good for our US dollar CAD downside. So if we get continuation here of this correction and further upside on the CAD, that will mean that our US dollar CAD will start playing out as we anticipate. All right. That is all the yen pairs. Now I think we can look at the pound pairs. We'll start with pound chief. Okay, so pound chief, same as pound US dollar. As I said, this structure normally, when we trade it, it pushes up higher. It reverses in 3 waves, but our indicator is telling us further downside. See, there's somebody with a question there. Sorry about that. Somebody with a question. Let's just have a look at what the question is there. Okay, that's not a question, it's just a comment. All right, so let's carry on. So we are looking for this one as a 5-wave move as well. W, X, Y, X, Z. W, X, Y, X, Z. You see what happens with these Zs? I showed this one here when I was talking about US dollar CAD. It just breaks the previous Y and drops with a big move. Now it looks like that is long-term downside now because we are out of this structure. Okay, we are out of that structure, and when we were down here, I was expecting that we're going to have at least a bounce here and get a corrective structure like this. I was expecting a corrective structure like this and then drop, but our indicator is telling us further downside. It's an almost fail-proof indicator that we use. So that means you are always going to stay away from the wrong alternatives. You'll stay away from the wrong alternatives because the strategy is clear. We've got 3 things that we know. If 3 confirm, then we know the trade is ready. So even if we do this analysis and we feel we've got doubts, the strategy will have a 1, 2, 3 tick boxes that we tick to confirm further downside. So for now, we are forecasting that we're going to carry on to the downside and at least target this level. If we get a correction around this level, doesn't matter what form or shape, after that correction, we're going to break this level and it's going to be a big move to the downside. Okay, So we'll have to watch the pound pairs with the coming Brexit news. So we'll update this. Pound CAD is not going anywhere for the last couple of weeks. You see, it's just been going sideways. Now the idea is to try and understand what is happening with this structure. It's going sideways. So a number of things could be happening here, one of which is 1, 2, and we're looking at this one here as a 1, 2, 3, correction in the middle here, and now could be having another one. Let's have a look here. Could be having 1, 2, 3 down. This could do that. So we can have that structure. No, let's change this to all together. So what I had here was a move to the upside. You have to figure it out. A correction and a move up. Looking at this whole thing as a wave X, and you're looking for this one to be a pulse. This is a correction. Very tricky one here because you can see that this correction is quite complex. You have here 1, 2, 3. See, you have to understand these structures to understand what they're doing, and then I move to the upside. What have I just done here? 1, 2, 3 wave move up, 1, 2, 3 wave X, 1, 2, 3 Y. So we're coming down here, we're currently here. Let's see what we're gonna get when we get to that level. Okay, and that structure is a simple 3-wave structure, 1, 2, 3. And we'll expect big down, because that's corrective, right? Here's to like it. What's the next move? Next move to look out for, immediate move, is to look for this one to continue downside. Continuation to the downside. All right, that's pound CAD. Pound Audi. Pound Audi has made a passing move to the upside. Very interesting passing move. Is this now the reversal on pound? And how could this affect our current structure? Because we were looking for long-term downside on this structure. This is how the structure could update. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4. If you remember, I've been saying that this SZ is quite a small structure. Okay, it's quite small compared to the rest. So what is happening here, there's a possibility that you could have this last Z as a 3-wave move like this. So that will be your Z. That will be your Z there. And if that happens, then that big move will be even better. Okay, so let's see what we have here. But this could simply also just be a 3-wave move. Let's have a look at it. Because from the top here, we've never had any correction. So I don't have any trade to give you as yet before we get confirmation of what is happening here. If we get this one here, flagging like this, then we're going to expect that Z to be a 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, this can just be a 1, 2, back, and then continuation to the downside. Which is all right because from here you've never had any deeper correction. So we could be having this. So I'm forecasting a zigzag here. It does not have to be a zigzag. This can even be a structure like this. It can even be a regular or a running or an expanding before we drop. But what you need to do is to wait for the move that is going to happen here, and our indicator will confirm whether we are ready to ride this trend for now. All right, so that's pound Audi. Pound New Zealand, similar. Pound New Zealand has also made this pulsing move to the upside. Let's see whether this pulsing move is not only a 3-wave move for further downside. Same as what we had here, 1, 2, 3, and it continued to the downside. We have to see what happens here, whether you're going to have a corrective structure right at the top there. Let's go for hour. Right at the end of the impulse, it does not look like it's dropping. Let's see if we get a proper corrective structure here. If we get a proper corrective structure, we're taking it up. Okay. Trend is still up for the meanwhile. Okay, so I'm seeing all the other pound pairs are looking upside, but pound chief is looking quite weak compared to the others. Let's see, maybe it can come out go up because of the structure, but the indicator on this one, so this one could be dropping because of the chief. As you can see, the other pound pairs are look like they've got a bit of strength for at least a 3-wave pullback. We'll see how that goes. So that was pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand, why are we looking at that structure? Let me just show you the high degree. The reason why we're looking at this is because, let's show the structure. Somebody made a comment that I labeled AZ on a 5-wave structure. You need to understand what is a 5-wave structure. So what we have here is not a 5-wave structure, but a 3-wave move. This is a 1, 2, 3-wave move, and especially when the rest of your structure is going up in 3 waves. So that's a 3-wave move. We'll be looking for this. And internally, a lower degree here, you've got 1, 2, 3. You should have 1, 2, 3 there. Then you have to downgrade the time frame here to see the 3 waves in this move. So that's why I'm looking at this one as a Z move. Now this is the structure that looks very clear. All right. And as you can see here, you've got a clear 1, 2, 3 triangle, and then a 5 WXY XZ move. W, X, Y, X. Your X was a triangle here, the second X was a triangle, a Z. And you know, if as far as the rules are concerned, you can only have a triangle on a 5-wave move like this on the second X. You can't have it in the first X. So all rules ticked. So now what is happening here? Are we getting a reversal or are we just getting a pullback? You have to wait for that confirmation. Don't just hop in, don't rush in. If it stays along around this areas and starts correcting like this, that could be confirmation for upside, even if it's just a 1, 2, 3 up before we continue with the move to the downside. Okay, that's pound New Zealand. Pound CAD we did, pound chief we did. I think that concludes all the pound pairs. We can look at the euros now. Looking at the euros, euro pound. So all pound pairs except for pound chief are looking weak for the next coming sessions. This one is not very clear. One possible that this one can come down for this one here, make a running flat because it looks like it's too strong, and go and retest here as we've been expecting. We've always been expecting that euro pound will go and retest that level because of the structure. You can take a snapshot of that. So we'll be looking for this one there. So this is the structure. You've got 1, 2, 3 waves, 1, 2, 3 waves. Now you're looking at, I shouldn't have done that in yellow. Okay, it's actually right. 1, 2, 3 waves, 1, 2, 3 waves, 1, 2. I'm trying to get a bigger structure. So the bigger structure should be in 1, 2, 3 waves. So that's why we want this one to come and retest. It does not have to retest. It can make any structure. It can even make this one here and be a zigzag. Let me remove the first one so you can see the second alternative. So this is the first one. This is the second one, which could be a zigzag. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It does not have any confirmation of reversal, which means it can still push higher and go and retest this level. This is what we're expecting. At least come and retest here before we drop. Okay. That's a euro pound. Now, euro Audi, very interesting how this one has played out. I have not even changed the labeling from what we expected. When this one was dropping here, 1, 2, 3, we expected this one to come down here, retest this one now and reverse. This is what you have. So euro in this euro Audi in the next coming session, and as you've seen the weakness in the Audi, could be pushing up higher. Okay, but how does it push higher? You don't just go and buy because you've got a pulsing move, because this pulsing move can correct until you can't take it anymore. Okay, And when you can't take it anymore, then it starts playing out to the direction that you anticipate because you're not buying it at the right time. Timing is everything. So you've got a pulsing move, wait for corrective structure to confirm upside. Euro New Zealand is similar. Only this one is not making any particular structure. We've just made what looks like a 5-wave move to the downside, and we're now going to look for a pullback. Okay, even if that pullback becomes corrective and does something like this. Okay, WXY, whether it does not have to be, I'm just focusing that we could have a structure like that. Could be any 3-wave move structure to at least correct this downside and then continuation to the downside. All right, that is Euro New Zealand, Euro Chief. Euro Chief will continue to come and, I don't know why I keep clicking that. Euro Chief will continue to come and retest this level. It will continue to come and retest that level. All right. Is that all the Euro pairs or EuroCAD as well? Okay, so EuroCAD I have been expecting it to drop. So we need to see what happens after this structure. It looks like here we've got 1, 2, 3. It could drop like that. We've got a 5-wave corrective structure here, WXYXZ. But overall, the bigger structure is supposed to come down here to complete the Y here. So let's see what we get here. Not clear this one at all. 1, 2. Could this be the 3 and we're coming to drop? It will support US dollar CAD down as well in terms of correlation because they'll be doing the same thing to the downside. Let's see here. I will update this structure here. I was expecting to get a certain structure here which has not played out yet. That's why I've only just got a Y here while anticipating that 3-wave move. We'll update this as it plays out. But getting out of this structure here will mean a retest of this move. At least we'll have this structure here. Okay, let's see. And if we start correcting here, then the whole structure changes and we're going to have to make adjustments. All right, that's a EuroCAD, not very clear. Euro New Zealand, done, CAD, Audi, Chief. We've concluded all the Euros. Now we can look at some of the cross pairs. Audi New Zealand, very interesting, doing exactly what we expect it to do. Keeps pushing lower and lower. We're expecting it to come to this level. This level, minimum. So it's doing exactly as we anticipate. So any pullback on this pair, you keep selling it. So this is the first place where it can make a structure. So this can be a WXY up to this level, but it will be too short. So we prefer it to come to the second level at parity. At that point, that will be a point where Audi and New Zealand will be, am I right? Will be at parity, yes. At this level, they will be at parity. Audi and New Zealand will have the same value at this point. So we're expecting it to get to that level. Okay, after which we'll expect Audi to gain strength again against the New Zealand. All right, that is Audi New Zealand. New Zealand CAD finally started the correction. So I said we have not been getting any entry point on New Zealand CAD. Let's see if this correction can start now with the drop on US dollar CAD as well. We've made a reversal move. So candle down doesn't mean anything. I mean, you've had a candle down here. Why didn't it go all the way? So we also have a candle down here. So we looked at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure. So I said last week, expect now to start getting a correction. Let's see what correction we get there. So that was not the only one. Audi CAD also made a 5-wave move to the upside. I showed all these 5-wave moves and that they're going to come to an end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you have? Exactly what we expected. Get corrective structure for at least a move like this. This does not mean reversal, especially after a pulsing move like this. This can just be a 3-wave pullback before we go. Okay, Audi Chief, I can't remember. Let's look at New Zealand Chief. There's a number of them. Yeah, exactly. All of these pairs, go to last week's video, we spoke about these 3-wave moves and that they're going to come to an end with a correction. And exactly as forecasted, that's how it's playing out. Audi Chief, same 5-wave moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As I said, when it is there, you will label it. You see how many 5-wave moves we've had in a very short space of time. Well, all along, if you look at my videos, there aren't a lot of 5-wave moves. It's mostly 3-wave moves. But when it is there, we label it as such. So we label what we see. Okay, we don't use one-dimensional formula. What you have there, exactly as forecasted, correction now, further downside. Okay, what else did we look at last week? Audi CAD we looked at, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Chief, I can't remember. Okay, this is Audi Chief, New Zealand Chief. Okay, CAD Chief is the one that's slightly different. So expect continuation on this one to the downside. It already made its pulsing move, it's making its correction and downside. Maybe continuation to the downside on CAD Chief. So this one could be dropping because of the Chief and not necessarily because of the CAD. All right. Then we can look at oil. Oil, the structure has changed. We are not looking at this as a pulse anymore. We're looking at the whole thing as a corrective structure. One, move there, move there. Why am I drawing screw? Let me get a straight line so we can do it with a straight line. There's a running flat there. And there's a move up, 3-wave up, 3-wave back, 3 waves up. So it's ABC. 5 up, 3 back, 5 up. Now we're expecting this move, correction, further downside. We're making a corrective structure. Why are we looking at that as a correction? If you look at the higher degree, we came down with a 5-wave move. We came down with this 5-wave move. Now correction in 3 waves. 1, 2, 3. So that's why we're expecting oil to come down with the move that it started with to the downside. So watch out here. This could start giving us a correction that it gave us around that level, because we've started this move now. There's that possibility. I'm not saying that that will happen, but if it happens, that will make a lot of sense for the structure to continue with that move, right? But for now, what you have, you are going to have corrective structures. Any corrective structure that you find on oil, you sell. When I have to look at the correlation between oil and the CAD, it's not always straightforward that you'll have oil and CAD dropping at the same time. We have to look at the correlation coefficient, which is something that we do in the group to check the correlation. So any correction here could be a clear sell until something changes, which has not happened now. So we'll keep selling oil when we get the setups. Right, and lastly, we do the indices. Start with the S&P 500. So all the indices, exactly as I said last week, we wanted to get this to retest here, to retest. There's somebody who asked a question, and I'm going to explain how we look at this. Remember, we are looking at, the question was regarding the analysis or the focus that are made on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. I'll show you what happened here. So as far as correlation is concerned and how you look at wave analysis, as I said, you don't look at this in isolation. The NASDAQ was making a structure, an interesting structure that looked like it was going to push up. But as we know that the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are correlated, what you do is you wait for one that has got the clearer structure than the other. Let's get the NASDAQ here on the right-hand side. So as far as the analysis was concerned, last week, I said on S&P 500, I'm expecting this. We were currently in this move. I was expecting a retest of this and a retest of the previous lows, which is this one here, which is what has happened. But the Nasdaq was not showing us that structure. We could not see what the Nasdaq was doing. What the Nasdaq looked like, it made a 1, 2, 3 running flat, a 3-wave back, and we're expecting that if the Nasdaq is making that structure, then that means S&P 500 will not retest, but will rather continue with the move to the upside. As this is where the Nasdaq was. We're expecting a correction and a push higher. If this was the expectation, which was what I looked at on the Nasdaq, I was going to expect that when we get to this level on the S&P 500, we're going to push higher as well. Okay. So the move that I didn't expect was that the Nasdaq will drop like the way it has dropped currently. But it makes sense that the Nasdaq, if the S&P 500 is dropping, the Nasdaq drops as well, because of that correlation. So now what are we looking at on this structure? What does it look like? It looks like it has made a 3-way move to the downside. Now we have to adjust the Nasdaq to have the same structure or the same correlation with the S&P 500. Now this is what you're going to have. 3 waves down, 1, 2, 3 back. Now we're expecting another 3 waves down on the Nasdaq. While we're expecting that 3 waves down, we're expecting it to retest the previous lows. We'll be expecting this one to also retest the previous lows. Only after that can we expect a move to the upside. Don't know how far this one will go, but I think it will just retest here and push higher. Similar here, retest here, and then go, because this is a corrective structure. Also a corrective structure. And that is how you look at correlation. This will be, I think some don't understand if you don't put in the letters. So this will be AWX, Y move. This will be a WX, Y move. That's why I'm expecting a 3-wave structure. After that is done, then we'll expect a move to the upside. Okay. We've just looked at the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. That is the structure for the Nasdaq. Dow, exactly the same. All the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq, we're doing the same structure. We expected it to come and retest. It didn't quite get to the level that we wanted, but it is now dropping as expected. So we're expecting continuation to the downside, at least minimum retest the previous lows before any move to the upside. So upside move, we will confirm as it happens. For now, there is nothing. You are looking downside still on the indices. That is Dow. Nasdaq we already looked at. UK 100. UK 100 could have made a structure here, but rather it made a correction. So still continuation to the downside. Correlation with the other indices. Any correction, you take it down still. Okay. Nikkei. Same. Exactly as forecasted. 1, 2, 3. Last week we were here. I said this is going to retest here and drop if we're expecting the indices to do that. So this is what we have. I must actually just show that in one line. 1, 2, 3. Let's show the internals. Internals here, you've got 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2. We're expecting this 3, and then a move to the upside. What does that do? WXY structure. Internally, if you want, you can put in letters here again. WXY, WXY structure for the move to the upside. So we're still looking downside on the indices. No changes from last week. We've got the retest that we were looking at, the DAX. DAX is quite interesting because it has already broken that previous low that we want the others to come and retest as well. So this is what is happening. We wanted it to go retest the top. It is now dropping. It has already cleared that. Let's see. DAX could be the leader of the rest of the indices in terms of looking at the reversal. So let's see what we get here. We already cleared this. Do we have any indication of a reversal? Nothing whatsoever. But if the DAX reverses, then the rest will also follow, and we'll update that. And lastly, the Nifty. Nifty is going up quite correctively. Let's see. So we've got on the Nifty an expanding flat there that we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks, and we're expecting this to go up in a pulsing move. But it looks like it's coming up with a diagonal. So if it's this is a diagonal, it may be starting a move like this before we go. So that could be a wave one in a diagonal. But for now, we don't know. It is coming down like this. Let's see on the 4 hour what we have. On the 4 hour, looks like the diagonal is still intact. We're still pushing up higher. So let's keep an eye on this one. There's no clear entry point here on this one. So it could be making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction, and this could be a wave 5. Sorry, a wave 1, 2 before we start a move to the upside. For now, leave this structure, let it play out so you can see where it's going. That is the Nifty. And lastly, the Sun Pharmaceutical pair stock rather from India is doing exactly what we've been saying it's going to do every time it makes a correction. Last week, I think we were here. I said it's going to keep dropping every time it makes this correction, because what has happened with Sun Pharma, if you look on the daily, that it made a bigger corrective structure. It made a bigger corrective structure. We bought this part anticipating that the whole structure had completed and we're going to go up. But instead, it was actually this corrective structure, and this is now, if this now clears this level, this one is going to fall heavily. Okay, makes sense that it falls and follow the indices, Nifty as well. So keep selling to the downside. All right, guys, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed that and you're going to trade safe in the next week. Oh, yes, let's look at gold and silver. Thank you for reminding me. I don't know why I forgot gold. Thank you for that. Let's look at that. Let's look at gold and silver. Gold and silver. Well, we would have missed that. So let's look at gold. And I wanted to look at gold together with the US dollar JPY. Now, gold has done exactly what we wanted to do. Is the next move going to happen now? Let's look. Is the next move that we anticipated going to happen? So this is what we have on gold. We looked at this as a 1, as a 2, as a 3, as a 4. And last week I said, actually when we were here, I expected that we're going to have this one retesting this high here. So we're going to have, let's do this on the 4 hour. It's going to be clearer on the 4 hour what we expected here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last week, I think a week before last, I said this one is going to push up higher, and we're expecting this one to retest this level minimum. Okay, so what will that do? It will give us a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure, which will be a W, X, Y, X, Z, and then expect a drop. I've been expecting a drop from here. I've been expecting a drop from here. Okay, but the structure is now a lot clearer. Let's see what we're going to have. So we need to get confirmation of this reversal. Let's see. Looks like we've got slight divergence, but it's not confirmed as yet, because we're supposed to have divergence there for us to confirm that this is going to reverse. Our confirmation will also come when we know that we are out of this last structure, the Z structure. Okay, so let's see if we get this reversing back here, it will go all the way to 1120. Right now it looks a little bit strong, but that is normal. It has done what we wanted it to do. Now we watch and see if we're going to get a trade to the downside. Okay, that is gold, silver, silver as well. One correction there. Let me do this one here. So with silver, we have a move up here. We have this one as a corrective structure. 1, 2, 3. So we're expecting this last move here to complete. So this move can turn anywhere and drop, and it will be this structure. Because I've been expecting 1350 on silver for the longest time. So let's see if this one is going to push up higher and drop like this, because this will be a W, X, Y, and then a drop. And then this will be a W, X, Y, and then we'll get the last move to the upside before we get the drop. Okay, so that's all I had for this week. Good luck trading in the next week, guys. We'll see you guys for our last webinar of the year next Sunday. Have a great week. Cheers. Bye-bye.